All right, so here she sits. Initial impressions. I'm not going to fire it up tonight. I'm a little bit on the busy side. Putting it together went together super, super easy. All right. Now, there's been talk about how these Z pillars don't line up. And after assembling it, I can understand where people are thinking that they don't line up. They are an exceptionally tight fit. And if you're not used to assembling things like model cars or any of that kind of stuff, they're going to give you grief. Especially if you've got it and you slid it into place and you're letting the top flop back and forth. It will move around and the holes won't line up. When it's really tight going in, it needs to be tight. Because if it was loose and sloppy, this entire flying gantry would just wobble all over the place. So I don't think there's an issue with any of this stuff lining up, because all of the holes lined up perfectly fine. It was just a really tight fit to get them in, and I had to wiggle it a little bit. Here's a build tip. Don't do one leg at a time. Put two legs in on one side and then set it down. Then you can wiggle it, and the weight of the machine will push down equally on two sides. So do two legs at a time. Make your life a lot easier. As for the rest of the machine, I don't have any complaints with the way it's built. I checked all the screws, all the bolts, all the nuts, checked everything, and they're all tensioned perfectly, right? Had to do a little bit of gantry racking correction. If you're not sure what a gantry racking is, somebody posted a link to a YouTube channel on it. It's where this piece here is on a slight angle to moving back and forth. And all that took was a little bit of an adjustment. I tightened that side. I loosened that side a little bit. She runs perfectly straight back and forth. The only other thing that I've done with the machine right now off the hop is I installed heat sinks on all of the chips inside the motherboard. I don't think any I don't think any motherboard should be running without heat sinks. And people have talked about how some of the equipment is running warm. Otherwise, the build itself, honest to God, super simple. It went together so easy. Even my wife commented. She's like, wow, that didn't take long to get a real printer, did it? So she's seen me spend hours and hours and hours building custom machines. And yeah, initial impressions, everything is awesome, right? There's just the right amount, a little bit of grease on all of the Z rails. I'll be cleaning them up and putting my own lubricant on there because I don't like grease. I have a lot of fur babies, and that stuff really attracts a lot of fur. But otherwise, initial impressions, love the machine. Went together without a hiccup. It was built exceptionally well. I'm sure that there's going to be people out there that have got machines that were built on a Friday. I guess China only works 4 days a week, so on a Thursday afternoon. But otherwise, everything is great. I looked at the double stack bearings in the back, and when you rotate them, they're not grinding against each other. There's a small gap there. So a lot of the stuff that people were going on about, I don't see them being any issues at all. Machine seems solid. And next time I report back, I'll actually fire this thing up and we'll put it through its paces. I am going to change the inductive probe on that thing to the M12. Otherwise, honest to God, the screen, it's the same screen I use on all of my Vorons. I do everything through a web interface, and this screen here is going to do exactly all that I need to do, which is load and unload filament and adjust the Z offset. So, non-biased, because if it was sucked, I would have told you. There's my original 06 from 18 months ago. My wife uses it now, and it just keeps on churning along. So, yeah, I think the machine is fine. I don't see any fatal flaws with it. And it went together perfectly fine. Nothing special. All right, catch you on the next video.